Hi, it's Brent, Abel here, WebTennis.net. I want to give you a quick tip today on returning serve in doubles. And specifically, if you're a right-handed player, if you're returning serve from the deuce side with your backhand. And, you know, if you've experienced this before where you've got, a pretty good server over on the other side of the net, and you're having to play a lot of backhand returns of serve from the deuce side, it's rough to really be able to get a nice clean drive on that return, and that primarily is because of your shoulder alignment at contact. And what happens is most of us don't really get enough of a turn on this side. And what we do is we get to maybe about halfway, but from here, really the natural swing wants to go right back at the net player. And that's kind of the angle that you've got right now, as if you're the net player who's my opponent. Well, if I only get about halfway of a shoulder turn, I can maybe chip it over to that side back to the server, but I can't really drive it. So here's the tip I want you to work on. And if you're a lefty, you're going to have the same experience over in the ad side with that backhand. So what I want you to do is to think about the first thing you want to do when you identify the direction of the serve from your opponent is to think simply about turning your shoulders and really work on that backhand shoulder turn. You might think you've gone all the way with this amount of a shoulder turn, but believe me, your swing path's not lined up to be able to go back cross court. You've really got to exaggerate that turn. The other thing that you can do on this, I see a lot of doubles players where they're literally facing forward from the baseline. They're not really facing the server. So on this deuce side, especially for a right-handed player, I want you to really face that server, because if you don't, if you're facing directly to the net, what happens is it takes much more of a bigger turn so that you can naturally have a swing path that goes back cross court to that server. So go ahead and tinker with this, see what works best for you. Are you better off maybe exaggerating your setup so that you're not quite facing the net post, but maybe something in between the net post and the server? Maybe you're better off just facing the server. The key here is that as soon as you read that the serve is going to your backhand, is that you get a full and complete shoulder turn. We're not talking racket back, but what happens when you get a full and complete shoulder turn? That's right, the racket ends up going all the way to your starting position on your swing. It ends up going back. So think shoulder turn on this in response to the direction of that server's serve, especially if it's going over here to your backhand. Now, it doesn't mean that you're always set up for a flat drive or a topspin drive, a chip and charge, a slice, or even a lob, but at least now you've got some choices. If you can only get turned halfway on this, you really can't drive it back cross court to the server if that's your setup. So what I want you to practice this week is a couple things. Number one, tinker with facing the server more. Maybe even face the alley, exaggerate a little bit, because I'm going to believe that even if you have to play a forehand, that you're set up as a righty in the deuce side to go ahead and play that forehand cross court without the need of a huge shoulder turn. This backhand is different. So, number one, tinker with your alignment. Are you facing the server? Do you need to face a little bit more towards the alley over there? And the other key here is really loose hands in your ready position. Right here, you don't know if you're getting a forehand or backhand. If you have any grip strength at all, any kind of clenching on that racket, what's going to happen is when you identify, let's say, backhand, this tension in here really restricts you from getting a nice full shoulder turn. So trust that soft hands, that number one is going to help you get a fuller shoulder turn, but number two, you'll be able to firm up the grip at contact if you have to. Now, what you can also do is when you're practicing this, or even in a match, if the server hits their serve in the net, see where you are. If you haven't gone all the way to that complete shoulder turn by the time the ball crosses the net, you need to work on that so that you get a little bit quicker with it. Softer hands will do it. Make sure you're watching the ball in the server's hand as the toss goes up. You're not watching the server. Obviously, you're not watching anything else but that ball, so that you can really get a visual contact early with the ball, and that as soon as you read where it's going, really commit to a full shoulder turn. All right, hope this has helped. As always, any questions, ask Brent at WebTennis.net. Have a great day out there. Hi, it's Brent. Again, hey, hope you enjoyed that tip. And, you know, for me, when I'm partnering with someone where I'm on the deuce side, I really need to spend some practice time before a league match or even a tournament, you know, really practicing returning serve on this deuce side and, you know, making sure I get a full shoulder turn to be able to drive the ball back cross court. So hope this has helped. Any questions, ask Brent at webtennis.net. Have another great day out there.